Hi everyone, Sahil Bora here from C++ Better Explained, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and analysing the very famous Hello World program that we see everywhere. We see it in books, online courses, free YouTube videos, it's everywhere. But the difference in today's video is that we're going to be breaking down step by step of how it's actually put together and how it actually all works under the hood. Every single line is going to be broken down and explained, and we're going to be giving a reason why we use every single part that we need to create the famous Hello World output program that we see in every single tutorial. This breakdown you're actually going to see is actually from my online course, the C++ Better Explained Masterclass. And if you're actually interested in enrolling into the C++ Better Explained Masterclass, I have a link down below to the 3 steps to actually master and learn the fundamentals of C++. And if you like what you see in that video, what I want you guys to do is to book a phone call with me. You'll have a phone call with me directly on how I can help you learn the C++ programming language. So let's get into the video breakdown of breaking down the very infamous Hello World program in C++, showing you guys the code and as well as a visual diagram on how it's all put together. Okay, so now I'm going to write a very basic C++ program, and in the slides we're going to cover what each line does. So this is a comment. This is including a header file. This is setting the libraries. Okay, if you didn't get any of that, don't worry, we're going to go through it line by line. Let's just see if this runs first. Okay, so now it's outputting, this is my first C++ program out in the window. That's what we've just done. We've written all these lines of code just to output, this is my first C++ program. Now, for beginners and myself, for a beginner as well, if I was a beginner as well, I would have no idea what the hell just happened. So let's go back to the PowerPoint and break it down step by step on what I just did. But before I break down the program, I just want to talk to you about the best ways to learn programming. So when you're learning a programming language as a beginner, or if you're completely new to programming at all, the best way to learn a programming language in any language is by coding and running example code by yourself. It's one thing to glance at example code and to say that you understand it, but it doesn't really sink at a deeper level. Programming is something that can't be learnt and mastered by just watching it, like watching a football game. It has to be, you have to apply yourself to understand what you're doing, and you have to put in the time. You have to put in the time by putting in the practice yourself and by making plenty of mistakes to get the hang of it. So when you make those mistakes again, you'll have the reference points on what to do. So this is what we just wrote. We just wrote a very basic C++ program that outputted, this is my first C++ program. And chances are you probably had no idea what was going on, which is completely fair. Like if I was a beginner, I would have no idea what was going on. So let's break it down. So in the first line, there's a green line which says my first C++ program with 2 slashes at the start. Now, the 2 slashes show that this is a comment inserted by the programmer. comments, they don't affect the program. They're only there to explain what is happening in the code. So when other programmers look at the code, they can understand what's going on. And another way to comment code is by looking down here, with a slash and a star. I would be using a slash and a star if you have multiple lines of code documentation that you would have to write. But the two slashes up the top here are fine as well. Okay, the second line. This is called including a header file. And every single C++ program requires this header file called the include IO stream. And it starts with a hashtag indicating that we are including what we call a header file. Without this, we cannot perform any standard input or output operations like what we have just done by outputting text. So as soon as we include IOStream, input and output will now be supported in the program, as you can see in this flowchart down here. Line 4, using namespace std. This is an important line of code because this links up the standard C++ library. Now, if you don't understand what that is, it's pretty much just linking up pretty much everything in the C++ standard template library. And it's also being used to differentiate between similar functions, classes, and variables within the same name in different libraries. In pretty much the most simplest words, with the help of using namespace std, it stops the compiler from mixing up code with similar names and identities. So as you can see in the flowchart here, we have using namespace std in the code. Now the program is linked to the collection of classes and functions in the C++ language and the standard template library. Pretty much, just to summarize again in plain English, it just pretty much stops it from mixing up code. That's pretty much the most simplest way I can explain what that does. Alright, line number 6, int main. Without this line of code, this program will not start. A good analogy would be is that it's like trying to start a car without a battery. Every single C++ program written has this one line of code, int main, in the program. It doesn't matter where it's located in the code. Without it, the program will not start. Okay, and then we have line 7, which is an open bracket. So this open bracket indicates the start of the main function of a program. So after this line, this is where you implement your code of what you want the program to do, or what you want the program to achieve. So after you would press space, the next line would be line 8, would be cout. This is my first C++ program. So in this line here, we are asking to display. We are telling the computer to display. This is my first C++ program onto the screen with the help of cout. So cout in C++ means it's going to output text, and this is in the body of the program. And as you can see at the end here, there is a /n. That just means a new line. So after that text has been inputted, at the end there was going to be a new line after the text has been inputted. So after that, it's line 10. So return 0. This line terminates the int main function and causes it to return to the value of 0. So when you're programming on Windows or a Mac, or in the Mac operating system, A return value of 0 ensures that the program is terminating normally. When you start to write bigger programs as you start to learn more and more, you start to learn more. You start to learn about memory management, and you don't want the programs to crash. So using the return value of 0 ensures that the program has been terminated normally and correctly. And then after line 10 is line 11. So line 11 is a closed bracket, and this indicates the end of the main function's definition. So after you've written all the code you want to achieve, or after you've written all the code that you want after you've written the code of what you want the program to do, you close it with a bracket like this. So now you can see all the steps that we've just gone through of a very basic C++ program. We're including the IO stream, which allows input and outputs, and then we're linking up the standard C++ library using namespace std, and then we're starting the program with int main, and then we're implementing our code to what we want to achieve in the program. So what we wanted to do is that we wanted to output, this is my first C++ program, and then we've terminated the program with return 0. I'll show you the code once again. So these lines. So this is what we've done. So this is what we were just talking about in the PowerPoint. What each of these lines do. I hope you guys enjoyed my latest video. As you know, I'm always giving you something new. But if you would like to further accelerate and simplify your learning of the C++ programming language, then what I want you guys to do is to click on the link below to sign up for my free video on the 3 steps to successfully learn and master the C++ programming language. And if you like what you see in the video, what I want you guys to do is to book a free 30-minute consultation call with me, where you will have a phone call with me directly to see how I can help you guys learn and master the C++ programming language. Even if you're a complete beginner or a complete novice, I'm more than happy to help complete beginners learn the language from scratch, which is what I pride myself on doing.